What's up, chat? It's really doing something special today, I'm telling you. That's right. We're vibing out in the space station today. You know, you got to think of some things to say when you're doing a sound check that don't sound weird, right? Well, you don't, because you're not a streamer, but myself being the streamer. Man, I gotta get started sooner than 32 minutes. Man, I gotta get started sooner than 32 minutes. Okay, we got it. Sounds good. Check. Sound check's good. None of that BS anymore, folks. Yep, first person in my chat, of course, is a bot trying to sell me something. That's right, chat. Had to ban that sucker. Fortunately, I have a bot that bans them. Alright, how do I look on the screen? That's not too bad. Hey! I don't know who's here. Oh no. What happened? Alright. That's it. What are we gonna do? I almost have half of my intro done for my channel. That's how slow it's going. Chat, I work it on the weekend sometimes, and I get like a little bit done. Video editing is hard. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're watching your
Discovery, including CNN.
Like if you're watching your up and coming YouTube editor video, someone that's not really been there for a long time and they're not making a ton of money, you know on the back end that they're actually doing the hard work of video editing. All that video they take, it takes hours. And then the disappointment when you spend 10 hours uploading a video and then it gets 10 views, you know? So it's a lot easier to edit now, though, to be honest. 10 years ago, editing was an art form. Now it's like you can kind of use just about any program to kind of edit video. But like if you're on a YouTube smart person, you know, you're going to end up hiring editors. Like the biggest streamers on Twitch, not me, have, editors that splice their shit up. And these editors actually get paid good money, brother. To be honest. You can get paid good money editing videos for YouTube and live streams. Because there's only certain moments, for example, in this live stream where you're going to watch. The rest of it's bullshit. So cutting it up and putting only that on YouTube or Twitch. Actually, YouTube, because you take it from Twitch. That's a job. But you got to have like probably 400 subscriptions to 1,000 before, on Twitch, before you can afford an editor. So, just the way it is.
Welcome to Democracy.
Okay, let's watch some news. I'm ready. It's Friday. I want to get it over with. All the bad news. I want to talk about it with y'all. Yep. Just like I do every day.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy.
Hey, there it is.
U.S. and Iranian officials have concluded another round of indirect talks over Iran's nuclear program without a breakthrough.
Okay, but the other news I have about this, so they did a talk. As she's gonna say, the Iranians talked to who is it? Fucking His
The
son-in-law
mediators
is in
cited
charge.
significant progress in the Geneva negotiations.
Jared Kushner's in charge of
Iran's
this.
foreign minister said afterwards further technical talks are scheduled for next week in Vienna, the home of the International Atomic Energy Agency, and that progress toward a deal had been good. The talks came after President Trump assembled the largest fleet of warplanes and aircraft in the Middle East in decades, ahead of possible U.S. strikes on Iran, even though Congress has not authorized an attack.
Well, that doesn't matter. Remember that. You don't have to get authorization as per George H.W. Bush, right? Like, he set that precedent. You understand, there's the law, and then there's the precedent that the president has set. And then presidents after that, they don't break that precedent, right? They keep, like, don't ask to go to war from Congress. It's fine. No problem. Let's just do it ourselves, says the president. It's like, what the fuck?
Pakistan's defense ministry
it's written in the law.
Open war against Afghanistan's Taliban government as it launched cross-border attacks and airstrikes on the Afghan capital, Kabul. Pakistani officials claimed their attacks killed 133 Taliban fighters, while the Afghan government claimed.
Okay, and here she mentions the Afghanistan now. It's like, yeah.
Its counterattacks killed 55 Pakistani soldiers. 13 civilians were reportedly killed in a refugee camp near the Torkham border crossing, including women and children, with several others wounded.
Something fell, and I thought it had landed on top of our tent. My wife's hand was injured badly, and my nephew was injured too. Both are now lying in the hospital in critical condition.
The escalation follows weeks of violence along Pakistan's 1,600-mile-long border with Afghanistan. The fighting has largely shut land border crossings, worsening Afghanistan's already dire humanitarian crisis. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says another round of negotiations with Russia will likely take place in Abu Dhabi in early March. His remarks came after U.S. and Ukrainian officials wrapped up talks in Geneva Thursday, where they discussed post-war reconstruction and an economic package for Ukraine. Ahead of the talks, Russia launched a massive drone and missile attack against multiple cities in Ukraine, wounding 23 people, including a child. This is a resident whose apartment building in Zaporizhzhia was attacked by Russia.
It's been 4 years and they still haven't ended the war. We want this. We want them to reach an agreement, but there are no agreements. And now we don't know where to go or what to do. Our apartment is completely ruined.
A congressional committee is deposing former President Bill Clinton today over his connection to serial sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This comes after former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton
he said he never met him,
knowing of his crimes during separate closed-door testimony to the House Oversight Committee Thursday.
Straight to jail. Straight to jail, folks. Straight to jail.
Wrong.
Which the former Secretary of State and presidential candidate denounced as partisan political theater. Hillary Clinton spoke to reporters in Chappaqua.
Do you see how confidently she strutted out there after lying? Yeah, me and my husband really didn't talk after the dick-sucking incident underneath the fucking White House, you know. So, like, you know, I just really didn't ask him about Epstein, and he never asked me about him. So I didn't really know him. And then Mr. Clinton, Bill, comes in. He's, I can't recall. Like the fuck.
New York, after her
straight to jail
closed-door deposition, which she had called to be open.
I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond.
Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have called on President Trump to also be deposed following mounting reports that key documents related to a woman who accused Trump of assaulting her while she was a minor are missing from the Justice Department's release of the Epstein files. This is Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia.
There we
This committee has now set a new precedent about talking to presidents and former presidents. And we're demanding immediately that we ask President...
Hey, guys. Mr. Garcia is actually a principled Democratic lib, so much appreciation to my Democratic representative from California here,
Trump,
Mr. Robert Garcia,
to testify in front of our committee and be deposed in front of oversight.
I agree, and this is what he's afraid of, because he will have to lie.
Republicans and Democrats.
We'll have more on the Epstein files after headlines with investigative journalist Barry
Epstein
Levine,
files.
author of The Spider, Inside the Tangled Web of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. In Gaza, Israeli
I actually got to find that because we got to watch it.
drone attacks on 2 police stations killed at least 6 Palestinians. Attacks struck police posts in the Barej refugee camp in central Gaza. The other hit a police checkpoint in the Al-Mawasi area of Khan Yunis. Palestinian officials say Israel's violated the U.S.-brokered ceasefire that began last October more than 1,600 times, killing over 600 Palestinians. Meanwhile, Israel's continuing attacks on southern Lebanon in violation of a November 2024 ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah. Lebanese officials reported 13 Israeli airstrikes on Thursday, including an attack on the Bekaa Valley that killed a 16-year-old Syrian boy.
Where is that?
In New Jersey, a dangerous car chase involving ICE agents who attempted to make an arrest Thursday ended in a multi-vehicle crash in Newark that left 3 children injured.
It's just like I keep saying, these fucking ICE agents think they're playing GTA 5. Okay, they think they're playing GTA 5 in real life. I'm not kidding. That's the kind of morals these fucks have, okay? In real life. They're acting out GTA. I'm not saying video games cause. I'm just saying that the morals in the story in GTA 5 is you can just walk up to anyone, jack their car, kill them, whatever. It's a big city, run around, and just, right? That's the game. That's what they're doing in real life. That's not okay.
New York Mayor Ras Baraka condemned ICE's Operation Reckless, saying New Jersey State...
And you jack someone's car and the cops come after you and you cause a car crash, you know. You're supposed to do that in a video game, not in real life. That's why the video game exists, so you can do that
from engaging
in a video
in car
game.
chases unless there's an immediate threat.
Hello?
In a statement on social media, Mayor Baraka said, quote, based on the damage they're inflicting on our communities, ICE has no business engaging in chases at any time, anywhere, but especially in densely populated areas and
yes, Ras Baraka is correct.
On roads still being cleared from a significant snowstorm, he said. Mayor Baraka was arrested last year while protesting outside the troubled New Jersey Delaney Hall ICE jail.
Yes.
The charges were later dismissed. Here in New York, a Columbia undergraduate student detained by ICE agents who used false pretenses to get into her off-campus residential building was released hours later after Mayor Zoran Mamdani intervened with President Trump at his meeting at the White House. Eli Agiyeva, who's from Azerbaijan, was arrested Thursday morning when ICE agents entered the building without a warrant under false pretenses. Colombia's acting president, Claire Shipman, said security cameras captured the agents in the hallway showing pictures of an alleged missing child. Agiyeva posted about her arrest early that morning on Instagram, saying, quote, DHS illegally arrested me. Please help.
This has got to be
We'll
it,
have more
then.
on this story later in the broadcast. Agiyeva's release from ICE custody came shortly after New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani appealed directly to President Trump as he made his second visit to the White House since his historic election victory in November. On Thursday, Mamdani also gave White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles a list of 4 current and former students targeted by federal immigration authorities and asked the administration for help on dismissing their cases. They are Mahmoud Khalil, Yunseo Chung, Mohsen Madawi, and Laka Cordia, all detained after they joined pro-Palestine protests. Laka Cordia is the only one who remains detained nearly a year after her arrest at an ICE jail in Texas. We'll speak.
I wonder why.
with Columbia graduate student Mosa Madawi later in the broadcast. At the White House, Mayor Mamdani also pitched an ambitious new housing project for New York City. He hailed the meeting as productive and shared a...
This is cool. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Look at that big ass smile on that fucking demented fuck's face. Look at Mamdani standing there. He knows. This is a historic photo right here. Because like Trump can't, even though Mamdani is the communist, right? The worst thing ever. He still loves New York so much that fake, all he needed to do was the fake news. That's all he needed to do he's so fucking brilliant. Oh my God. Yep. This is politics 2.0. In my opinion. This is like the next level of politics.
Photo on social media with President Trump in the Oval Office holding a mock version of the New York Daily News with the headline, "Trump to City, Let's Build." The mayor's office said in a news release the city is seeking some $21 billion in federal grants for the housing project, which Mamdani touted as the largest housing and infrastructure investment in New York City in more than 50 years. Access to affordable housing was at the center of Mamdani's campaign.
50 years, bro. They haven't built a goddamn building in affordable housing in New York. That shows you why. You're like, oh, why is housing so expensive in New York? Gee. And just to think, every single mayor of New York knew that this was a possible solution. Remember that. Every time you see Mamdani doing something and you're like, how come no one else figured that out? Don't get deluded in thinking that they hadn't figured that shit out, okay? The other politicians knew well and true they could do all the kinds of this shit. They didn't want to. This doesn't put money in their pockets, okay? Mamdani doesn't want to put money in his pocket, okay? Much as they're going to tell you he wants money in his pocket, he doesn't give a fuck about that. He cares about the people that elected him. Unlike most politicians who care about their pocket, okay? So remember that.
In media news, Paramount's Skydance is poised to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery after Netflix declined to match Paramount's $111 billion offer. Netflix ended its bidding war shortly after CEO Ted Sarandos visited the White House on Thursday afternoon, where he met with top officials, including Chief of Staff Susie Wild.
This is illegal, by the way. Like I said, this doesn't matter anymore. If this happened 10 years ago, oh my God, 20 years ago?
Paramount's offer still requires regulatory approval in the U.S. and Europe. If completed, it would create the largest media conglomerate in U.S. history, spanning news, sports, movies, video games, theme parks, and more, all controlled by Paramount chair David Ellison, a vocal supporter of President Trump. The deal would include acquiring CNN, consolidating Ellison's news empire, which already now includes CBS News. And the FBI has fired about a dozen more agents tied to the investigation into Trump's mishandling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago after he left office in 2021. The purge by FBI Director Kash Patel comes...
Yep. He was concocting his plan while he was hanging out with the fucking U.S. hockey team. Yep.
As he faces mounting criticism over his use of a government jet to travel to the Milan Olympics, where he was filmed chugging beer in the locker room with the U.S. men's hockey team after their gold medal win over Canada. And those are some of the headlines.
Right away.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman in New York, joined by Democracy Now! Co-host Juan Gonzalez in Chicago. Hi, Juan.
Hi, Amy, and welcome to all of our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.
Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube.
Okay, we're good.
Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.
Okay, here's MS now saying that Hillary Clinton made the fools out of Let's see how much copium is involved in it. How much copium we got in this, guys? Let's see.
After today's deposition, Secretary Clinton decided that she would take it upon herself to speak to the press and let them know what exactly took place in that deposition.
Okay.
We returned to answer questions repetitively, literally over and over again. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet.
Joining me now are two members of the House Oversight Committee who were in the room for that deposition with Hillary Clinton today, Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari of Arizona and Congressman James Walkinshaw
we get the
of
truth.
Virginia. It is good to have you both here today. What did you learn today about Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh, my gosh. Unfortunately, I said it earlier today, but it was a clown show. We did not learn anything new. The secretary repeated what she had already
It's a clown
put
show.
forward
Of
towards
course.
the committee, which is that she didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. She never flew on his plane. She never went to his island.
I really like how she just is like, it was a fucking clown show.
And as she stated, she really just emphasized that over and over and over again. We learned nothing new about what we are actually looking to understand, which is who else may or may not have been involved with Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, who may have enabled it or been part of
he was already in
perpetrating
jail,
these crimes against children. So it was, I think, an absolute waste of resources. We have always been supportive of bringing anyone forward who may have information, but it was clear today that the secretary did not have information to provide.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I think we learned that most of the Republicans in Congress, certainly on our committee, are not serious about this being a bipartisan investigation that gets to the facts and the truth. You mentioned Lauren Boebert releasing or sending that photo to a right-wing influencer. The other thing I saw on their social media earlier today was as they were arriving to the hearing, they were taking these photos together, smiling, gleeful, very excited. They looked like a overdressed group headed to Disney World. They were so happy about this hearing because it was their opportunity to fulfill their long fever dream of locking up Hillary Clinton. And they thought this was the time they were really going to get her. And they got absolutely nothing because the truth is she never met Jeffrey Epstein, had no real relationship with Maxwell, never went to the...
Like I said, I don't believe that. I just don't. Even though I'm not on the right, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No, I believe she...
Right to jail, right away. Also jail.
Yes.
The island and has no knowledge about his crimes that could help our investigation.
Today you had Robert Garcia.
There are probably cell phone records of her cell phone being on the island that they have redacted. Okay. For years, there's been a known point cloud of cell phone data on the island. Hello? Apparently, there's cell service there.
Say that he
I'm
hopes
just saying.
this sets a precedent. The fact that you have a former First Lady, former Secretary of State, former President, all agreeing to a deposition that would, of course, take Republicans.
Why would you think anything would come of that? You just spoke of two of the most vile people to exist. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are not good people. Despite how you might think they're good people, their intention in office and their continued support of genocide and war is not okay. They just paint it with a better picture. You think they were liberals and they were good, but they weren't.
Agreeing that this sets a precedent. Can you give me a sense of what it's going to take to get your Republican colleagues there?
I think the public pressure will continue to mount. Americans are appalled by this. I mean, the fact that the Epstein files issue is the main issue.
Like I said, this is one thing that all of us, right or left, will agree on. It's like, I don't give a flying fuck if it's a leftoid, a rightoid, a fucking Noam fucking Chomsky, also Epstein person. Despite me talking how much I love Noam Chomsky, I did, blah, blah, blah. I still knew that he was, he still is a fucking piece of shit, okay? He needed to be in jail too.
Right to jail, right away.
issue. I mean, Trump is underwater more than anything else on this front because the cover-up is so clear and egregious. And the reporting that came out this week from the New York Times and NPR that demonstrated very clearly that the Department of Justice literally withheld investigative materials from the FBI as it pertains to allegations against the president from a minor or from a woman who was a minor at the time. This is going to change everything. I mean, this news just broke in the last 48 hours. I think that as more and more information continues to come out, it's going to become impossible for Republicans to ignore this. I saw this evening that some of the Congress women, who I will say I think are unfortunately some of the most theatrical ones when it comes to how they were approaching this deposition today. You had, I think, Anna Paulina Luna tonight tweeting that you should have the death penalty for anyone who is a child rapist. So it's very interesting that she is tweeting that, which is quite a bold stance. And you have very serious allegations against the president. So he should absolutely come forward in front of this committee. And it today did set a precedent for that.
I don't know if you hear the same thing from your constituents, Yasmin, but in my district, this is something I hear about from Democrats, independents, and a lot of Republicans. So congressional Republicans are out of step with their own base. Donald Trump is out of step with his own base. And, I think
if you're so, how can both of these people sit there and defend Hillary Clinton? I don't understand. They have nothing to lose by dragging her under the bus. She's not an indictment on the whole Democratic Party. The bigger indictment on the Democratic Party is their not ability to not do anything. Okay, or inability to do anything at all is what I mean. Jesus. Like just because they go, oh, Hillary Clinton is a bad one, doesn't mean that they're going to be able to paint all the Democrats, especially because if a bunch of Republicans go down as well. I mean, you got to take all the bad rats off the ship. Hello? And they're like, yeah, everyone agrees. Of course we do. We don't like child diddlers. We don't like sex slave traders. We don't like people in high power in the first place. Most people don't. Even the most right-wing person still doesn't like that shit. Alex Jones, a right-wing character, made a living out of talking about the child pedophile ring and Jeffrey Epstein, okay?
Marjorie Taylor Greene is reflective of that.
Still does.
On the day.
To this day.
Congresswoman Mace and Boebert are reflective of that.
That guy's still, actually, he got sued because he said so many bad things about there was a shooting. What was it called? I can't remember now. There was a shooting a long time ago, but he was talking shit about it, and he got sued for like billions of dollars. He's still making money.
But if congressional Republicans continue to back up Donald Trump and his administration as they hide these files and especially the information Yasmin referred to, this recently revealed.
So, sir, when they actually release the rest of the files and you see that actually Clinton was in there,
information about this allegation against Donald Trump, they're going to have problems with their own base.
If they are, in fact, hiding these documents that we now have reporting about in the past 48 hours, what else are you concerned that they're hiding?
I mean, I think we've been concerned that they are hiding a lot. I mean, there are still millions of files that our understanding is we only have 50%.
The reporter has to say if. God, I hate that. Ugh.
Of the files. And in what has been released, there's already such appalling, horrific information. So imagine what they have not released. I think that there's two parts to this investigation, right? It's an investigation into the horrific crimes, the child sex trafficking operation, who else was a part of it, figuring out all of those details and making sure people are held accountable. The second part is the cover-up that is underway. And every day there's more information that comes out about the cover-up. And I think this is so damning. I think back a lot to.
Okay. The fact that Bill Clinton can come into office and say, or into the Congress and have a deposition and everything, and no one gives a fuck. And there's these photos out there that are not AI that show him in a hot tub with two young girls standing next to Jeffrey Epstein, dressed the same, like in a like shiny wear. Okay, it's like, what are we doing here? That's what I said earlier. It's like we need to get these people.
Also, Jan.
Yes.
The fact that Kash Patel
I'm going to use
went in
this
front
meme.
of
It's gonna be
Senate
it's gonna be my
Judiciary
thing.
Committee and testified under oath that nobody else was involved.
Even though I don't believe in jail.
The child sex
only for
trafficking
these
and
people.
nobody else committed the crimes. When the interviews that we know the Department of Justice has withheld from us came from the FBI. There were multiple interviews that the FBI conducted with this individual who's making these credible allegations. And where are they? Why are they not revealing this? And I think I've seen everything that I need to see, and that's why I've been calling for Pam Bondi's impeachment. She's, it's unacceptable.
I think maybe I'll be the first to quote Donald Rumsfeld on this show, but there are known unknowns and there are unknown unknowns. Some of the known unknowns are the survivors' statements, the victims' statements that they have told us the FBI has. So I had Jess Michaels as my guest for the State of the Union. She knows.
He didn't just do that. This guy's the youngest old guy I've ever met. If he is using that meme.
Knows that there is her 302, her statement documenting her experience of being raped by Jeffrey Epstein. That hasn't been released. It's not in the files. Either it's not in the files or it was redacted. That's a known unknown. And then there are the unknown unknowns, right?
Stop.
These recent revelations about the accusation against President Trump and those missing files, we didn't know that until recently. What else is out there like that, whether it's related to Donald Trump or other wealthy, powerful men? We just don't know.
I was thinking about Jess Michaels and the other survivors today as this was all unfolding. The indignity of having Pam Bondi refuse to acknowledge them, the indignity of having the President of the United States, who campaigned on this issue, refuse to acknowledge them. And then the indignity today of having Republicans take...
Like, what if some of those survivors voted for him? Just because he said he would release the Epstein files. I mean, I don't know if any of them have or said they did, but like, for fuck's sake.
Time.
How would you feel?
Was ostensibly supposed to be
pretty messed up.
Actually extricating information about Jeffrey Epstein, asking about UFOs and Pizzagate. Should I be surprised they didn't ask about Whitewater? Like they were digging so deep into the archives. It feels like time wasted, yes. It feels like not taking the process seriously, but also to me is disrespectful to the women who are demanding justice and accountability.
They have been deeply, deeply disrespectful. What we've heard from when we've talked to the victims, they have worked really hard to make this bipartisan. They have gone to many members of the Republican Party, sat down with them, explained, their cases. And what they've shared with us is that what the Republicans will essentially tell them is they feign empathy and they feign compassion, but essentially say there's nothing more that they can do. And it is such a slap in the face to them.
There's nothing there.
And it's just
that's not true.
Just heinous. That's actually what upset me the most. And
I mean, they are saying that there's nothing they can do because they've been told that's what they all need to do that because there's some of them that are going to go down as well. Like, I mean, a lot of them are in jeopardy.
You talked in your introduction about the fact that all of these Republicans showed up today. They didn't show up last week. And the reason it went on for so many hours today is also because if they've taken the time to come out here, they also kind of need something to show for it, right? And so they were asking the same questions over and over again. Some of them went into these conspiracy theories, but it's just embarrassing. You do not show up to take part in the deposition of literally the one person who is responsible for there being a Jeffrey Epstein. There would not be a Jeffrey Epstein or an island or a plane, all of that vast wealth and connections without Les Wexner, and we were the only ones there.
And that Wexner deposition was productive in that there was a critical piece of information that came out of it, which is that Wexner, according to him, was never interviewed by the FBI or the DOJ. That is an astounding revelation that didn't come to light until that deposition took place. This deposition today produced no new information that's actionable that can help our investigation move forward. It was a waste of time.
There is one connection to Epstein here. There was an email in the Epstein files showing that Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick invited Jeffrey Epstein to a fundraiser for Hillary Clinton. Either of you, your sense of why it has taken Chairman Comer this long to decide whether to subpoena Lutnick?
First of all, I don't think Chairman Comer is very smart. I just do not think he has a strategy whatsoever. I don't think he has a plan. I think they wanted to make this big show of Hillary Clinton with no real idea of how they would take it forward. They have been reluctant about all of the subpoenas that have anything to do with this administration or even with the financial institutions. So I think until they only act when we continue to call for it, when there's so much public pressure that there's absolutely no way to back out of it. I mean, the subpoena that came out of the Oversight Committee to begin with, I think only really happened because there was so much public pressure and it just looked so, it would have been so damning for none of them to have voted for it. So, I mean, he said he made some vague commitments today.
Yeah, she's right. She's right about that. It was a fucking distraction and just to give him out.
He talks about the Trump administration officials that have come before the committee. What he doesn't say is the two of them, Bill Barr and Alex Acosta, are from Trump's first term and had falling outs with Trump, right? So they're no longer in Trump's good graces. So it was easy for Comer to bring them in. The challenge, the question of courage for Chairman Comer is he willing to bring in someone like Howard Lutnick, who is still in the good graces of Donald Trump, who operates under the protection of Donald Trump, and will Chairman Comer incur the wrath of Donald Trump in doing that? And Lutnick is tricky because Lutnick's story parallels Trump, because Lutnick lied and said he didn't really have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The files have revealed he did have a significant relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump has lied for many years, saying he didn't have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The files in our investigation have revealed he had a long and significant investigation. So Trump can't throw Lutnick overboard, because Lutnick has done precisely what Trump did. So he has to continue to protect him. I don't think Chairman Comer will have the courage to overcome that.
True. Yeah, he won't have the courage. That's the thing, guys. Nothing's going to happen until he's out. And then I don't even know, because look at how willing Hillary Clinton is to deny it. Yeah, right, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Fuck. It's bad, right? There we go. Apparently this is Vince McMahon wrecking his Bentley.
All right, just your registration and your license in here?
No, it's in my pocket.
All right.
In Westport, Connecticut, that is WWE founder Vince McMahon. The 80-year-old just wrecked his Bentley after smashing into another car at over 100 miles per hour.
Oh, shit. He's fucked.
I haven't driven this car quite some time.
It's fast, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, too fucking fast.
McMahon, who is a friend and business partner of Donald Trump,
was
speeding on the Merritt Parkway when Connecticut State Police tried to pull him over. McMahon kept going, reaching 115 miles per hour before running into that BMW and then smashing into a highway guardrail.
What a loser.
Just stay in the car. Do you need an ambulance?
No, I don't.
All right. Why were you driving over 100 miles an hour?
It's my granddaughter's birthday. I got to get this the next exit.
Right. Did you see me trying to catch up to you behind you?
I didn't see that. I saw lights, but it didn't look normal.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up to you, and you keep taking off.
Oh, no. I'm not trying to outrun you.
I know.
He's drunk.
I understand that, but that's why I was very confused. Right? Because it wasn't like you were running. It was just like you almost hit, I think, 115 miles an hour. All right, and then you just hit someone because you weren't paying attention. Were you looking at your phone?
No, trying to drive. No, I'm not looking at my phone.
The person was right in front of you.
Oh, he might be having a heart attack.
There's got to be a reason you hit him.
No, the reason I haven't been driving my car, and God knows how long.
God damn, maybe he had a heart attack. Doesn't even know it.
Straight at it. At 100 miles an hour.
That's crazy.
I'm just making sure you're not having a medical condition or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need an ambulance? No, it's fine. All right.
The Connecticut State Police just released the body camera footage of the July 2025 incident. McMahon never explained why he was either distracted or not paying attention. Luckily, the driver of the BMW he hit was not injured, just shocked.
If you want to leave a statement, you could stay for the trooper that's going to take the accident report.
So you just happen to be passing by?
Yeah, I'm going in right now.
Holy cow. I mean, I was just trying not
to I saw the whole thing.
Tip over.
Oh, are you okay, baby?
I know.
Shelby?
Yeah.
Hi, Shelby.
Holy cow. Thank God. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, honestly, you're lucky he noticed it last second because he turned. If he hit you straight on, it would have been worse. So, the other troopers are coming. I don't have a computer to do an accident report, but if you grab your license, registration, and insurance, if you decide to stay to leave a statement with that trooper, you'll just need your license.
That's great. You saw the whole thing. The guy
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
He was just going very fast.
Wow. Yeah, I'm okay. Thank goodness.
Your car's not damaged. You didn't get any debris, right?
No.
That woman, a good Samaritan, had pulled over to help.
My car's fine.
I thought I was going to get a lot of debris,
So
too.
you were actually trying to pull him over.
I was trying to catch up to him to pull him over.
Oh, my God.
An unidentified family member or friend that McMahon had called then arrived.
Let's get him to your car.
Okay.
We'll wait for the information. Once we give you the information, you guys can take off.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
Thank you very much.
So you can hop out. You're going to go back to his car.
Where's his fucking ticket?
This week we went down to D.C. for the State of the Union, and we left Johnny there to back cleanup.
How you doing?
Doing fine.
Nice to see you. Johnny from Fox.
Johnny, your hands are cold. You need to get some gloves.
I'm freezing. How was that speech last night?
It was long.
77 here, bitch.
It was a lot of
Lol.
It was a long speech.
It was long. Did you enjoy it?
No.
You weren't a big fan of that speech last night.
No.
You didn't stand for much.
No. We're also not there to perform.
It was a great speech, full of enthusiasm for the country.
The economy is improving. Our standing in the world is improving. Our border is
The president asked Democrats to stand up if they prioritize American citizens over illegal aliens. Did you stand?
I didn't stand. It was a gotcha question.
And he got you.
No, he didn't get me.
No Democrat did, because of the way he was framing it.
The gimmick was a little cheap.
You didn't want to show the American people that you'd stand?
I show the American people where I stand every day.
What is your first responsibility?
Good answer,
protecting
actually.
American citizens or illegal aliens?
Fuck you.
I'm just getting ready for hearing. Thank you.
What is your first priority, illegal immigrants or American citizens? You don't want to tell the American people that you prioritize them first?
Dude, looks like he's an immigrant. I'm sorry. What the fuck?
Illegal aliens or American citizens?
We're not there to perform for this guy. It was a speech filled of a bunch of grievances.
Big moment last night.
Yeah.
You ripped Al Green's sign. What happened?
I said, Al, you got to be better than this. What the hell are you bringing this sign on here? I mean, Al,
Better
you
than
got
it.
kicked out of here last year. Now you're going to try to do a twofer.
Al's a really bad boy.
Well, I will just say this. He's in a contested primary, so he's probably doing everything he can to try to get his mug on television.
Congressman.
How are you?
You were a bad boy last night.
Well, I was bad in the sense that I got into good trouble, the kind of trouble that John Lewis
Thank you,
has
sir.
called to our attention. The president has
Boy, this
gone
guy
too
has so
far.
much patience.
Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, they were
He has so
screaming,
much patience.
they were heckling the president. Was that the right
Gotta
thing
respect
to do?
that guy.
Well, again, I just don't think we should ever do that. We should respect the
Like,
office.
here we go again.
regardless who's in that office?
The president says that...
Really? Sounds like a fascist to me.
Democrats are crazy.
They are. They're back crazy.
They have a massive, out-of-control case of Trump derangement syndrome.
We'll find a cure.
You're right.
The president has a problem, and I had to expose his problem. So that's what last night was all about.
You're going to get censured again.
Well, John Lewis and I were incarcerated together for protesting.
Yes.
And one of the things that he reminded me of was that you got to be prepared to suffer the consequences. It was my colleagues that reached over to rip things out of my hand and said things to me. So I did not create the disturbance, they did. So if they're going to censure all of us, then I guess maybe.
People were not standing for lowering Social Security, no tax on tips.
That was again a game.
So this was all a game.
It was a gotcha game.
Since you were kicked out, you did miss an important part. The
Even though
president
Fart
said,
can see it.
please stand if you support United States citizens over illegal aliens. Would you have stood?
If I had been in the chamber, I would have made a decision at that time.
What's your priority, United States citizens or illegal aliens?
My priority is the American Constitution, which protects you, aliens, and people in this country.
So both.
My priority is the Constitution.
Not United States
My priority
citizens.
is the Constitution.
You looked great in that suit last night.
Idiot.
Well, thank you. Jeez,
Not him.
you know, I am a
The
fashion
reporter.
plate.
Will you attend the third State of the Union?
I'm going to attend as long as I believe I should. And when I think I shouldn't, I won't.
Do you know who I am?
No.
Here's
Dude,
Johnny.
I love him.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest.
That guy has no riz. Absolutely no riz. I don't know how he gets any of those people to talk to him. Jesus. Bro coming to the show, zero riz. Literally accosting people.
4 Cuban exiles were killed Wednesday in a shootout between Cuban border troops and a Florida-registered speedboat carrying 10 Cuban exiles. According to the Cuban government, the men on the speedboat opened fire when Cuban border troops approached the boat for an inspection off the northeast coast of Cuba. The Cuban troops then fired back, killing 4 of the 6 men.
Sounds like JSOC to me.
6 others were injured and are now being held in Cuba.
The Cuban government says the men were attempting to carry out, quote, an infiltration with terrorist ends, unquote. Cuban media reports the men were carrying weapons, Molotov cocktails, bulletproof jackets, and camouflage gear.
What the fuck, dude? Like I
Cuban
said,
Foreign Minister
JSOC.
Bruno Rodriguez said, quote, Cuba has had to face numerous terrorist and aggressive infiltrations from the United States since 1959, with a high cost in lives, injuries, and material damage. A rigorous investigation is being carried out to clarify the facts, he said. On Wednesday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. will investigate what happened.
Suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that.
This is a Cuban exile.
It's not
His parents
something
were.
that happens every day. It's something,
Don't
frankly, that
forget.
hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time. But we're going to find out. We're not going to base our conclusions on what they've told us.
Marco Rubio, who's Cuban-American, was speaking at a gathering of Caribbean leaders in St. Kitts and Nevis. At the meeting, regional leaders expressed alarm about the growing humanitarian crisis in Cuba due to a U.S. oil blockade that has cut off the island from desperately needed fuel. The Trump administration recently threatened new tariffs against any nation that sends fuel to Cuba, which has been under a U.S. economic embargo since 1962. The U.S. has been ratcheting up pressure on Cuba since early January when U.S. forces attacked Venezuela and abducted Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife Celia Flores.
On Wednesday, the Treasury Department announced it would partially ease the blockade and allow Cuba's private sector to import Venezuelan oil, but restrictions remain on the Cuban government. The U.S. move is widely seen as another attempt by the Trump administration to weaken the Cuban government. We go now to Medea Benjamin, co-founder of Code Pink. She was in Cuba 2 weeks ago providing humanitarian aid. She was also just in Venezuela. Code Pink, the Progressive International, and other organizations are planning to launch a land, sea, and air humanitarian solidarity mission to Cuba in late March. So if you can deal with this breaking news, the 10 Cuban men, apparently, in a speedboat headed to Cuba. Explain what you understand happened. At this point, 4 are now dead, 6 have been taken by Cuba.
I understand that a boat that was carrying weapons and people who were going to infiltrate Cuban waters and somehow escape the U.S. Coast Guard because they're not allowed to even go to Cuba, managed to get within 1 mile of Cuba's northern province of Santa Clara, and that they were approached by a Cuban Coast Guard that wanted their identification. The U.S. boat opened fire, and in the shootout, there were 4 Cubans living in the United States who were killed, and 6 were wounded. I should say that when the U.S. blows up boats in the Caribbean, when there are people in those boats that weren't killed, it goes back to kill them all. Instead, Cuba took the 6 to a hospital for treatment. I also want to say that the brother of one of those murders said, it was quoted in the AP story today, that his brother had fallen into a diabolical and obsessive quest to change the U.S. government, the Cuban government, a diabolical and obsessive quest. And I think that characterizes U.S. policy for the last 60+ years.
So, Medea, could you say a little bit more? What is known about these 10, the 4 killed, the 6 detained? Were they all Cuban nationals, any of them American citizens?
They were all Cuban nationals living in the U.S. in Florida.
Hell yeah.
2 of them were on a Cuban wanted list for prior criminal activities.
Yes.
Attempts at terrorism. And we're learning as the time goes by about the others of them. This has happened before.
And the fact that Marco Rubio is saying he doesn't know anything about this.
While Marco Rubio said it's unusual to have a shootout in the seas, that's true, but it is not unusual to have terrorists infiltrating Cuban territory. In fact, there are in the history blowing up of tourist hotels so that tourists would be afraid to go to Cuba, and constant attempts to infiltrate. Of course, there are hundreds of attempts to kill Fidel Castro. The southern Florida Cubans are obsessive and diabolical, and they must be stopped. And unfortunately, they are represented in our government, in our Congress, by people like Representative Maria Salazar,
they want Cuba.
And also by Carlos Jimenez and Diaz.
Trump's trying to give it to
and
him.
They're represented at the highest level of government by our U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
Well, let's go to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is, as we mentioned earlier, Cuban-American, speaking on Wednesday.
What the Cuban people should know is this, that if they are hungry and they are suffering, it's not because we're not prepared to help them. We are. It's that the people standing in the way of us helping them it's their Communist Party. That's who's standing in the way. If they move out of the way, we're more than happy to work with individual Cubans so they can have an opportunity to feed their families and build their economy.
Fidel Castro was the target of an estimated 638 assassinations attempts, primarily plotted by the CIA and the Cuban exiles between 1959 and the early 2000s, you guys. Known facts, okay? Known facts. The AI pulled it up immediately. Why do you think Fidel Castro is such like a legend? This is the other reason he is because he survived 638 CIA attempts on his life. That's like winning in the video game, like beyond anyone else.
But we are not the impediment. They
are. Medea, that is...
He's a piece of shit, man. That guy, when I saw that Trump had appointed him to the position he's in right now, I knew what the fuck was going to happen. I just knew it. I was like, there's no way. Because I'd seen him talk before.
Marco Rubio, if you could explain, you were just in Cuba a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's been under sanctions, a U.S. embargo since 1962. But explain what's happened in the last months when sanctions have been so tightened that prices are so high for basic items. I mean, as he mentioned, people are hungry, that they're totally out of reach. And also the food scarcity that there is now in Cuba.
Yeah, what Marco Rubio said would be laughable were it not so tragic. On January 11th, Donald Trump said that no oil and no money would be going to Cuba, zero. This is, as you said, a policy that has been going on for over 6 decades now, and it has been tightened in such a medieval siege type of way by Donald Trump. to stop all oil from going to Cuba has created a terrible crisis where workers don't have transportation to get to work. When they get to work, there's no electricity. Students are having a hard time getting to school. The hospitals are having a hard time functioning. There's a terrible scarcity of medicines.
Solar.
The food is scarce and high-priced. Farmers now don't have access to irrigation or fuel for tractors. This is a tragedy that's been going on and has been exacerbated since COVID. And with U.S. policies of putting Cuba on the state sponsor of terrorism list, which is something Donald Trump did, and unfortunately Biden waited to the last week of his presidency to lift, and then it was put on right again. This means that Cuba can't function in the world trade system. It can't use the international banks. These sanctions that the U.S. put on are not just to stop U.S. companies. They're designed to stop other countries and companies around the world from dealing with Cuba. And so you don't have fuel. The garbage piles up in the streets. The mosquito.
I may mute her, though. Look, when someone like Medea has been on the streets, doing what she's doing for so many years, you listen to what she has to say, right?
Mosquitoes proliferate, mosquito-borne diseases proliferate. There's not the ability in the hospitals to take care of people. Cuba, once known for a lower infant mortality rate than in the United States, now infant mortality rate is rising. This is a tragedy. It's condemned every year by the world community, by everybody except the United States and Israel, and yet it keeps going on. And I think now, finally, the world community, and especially in Latin America, is rising up to say, no, we cannot let this keep going on.
Canada has announced $8 million in funding for Cuba as the country grapples with President Trump's oil embargo, as the UN warns of a humanitarian catastrophe in Cuba. Can you talk about what Code Pink, Progressive International, and other groups are doing? Talk about what you plan for the next weeks.
Yeah, we are excited to announce that on March 21st, there will be a convergence in Havana of people getting there by boat, by plane. There are also a group, the People's Forum, that will be collecting and is collecting lots of solar panels, taking them through Mexico to ship to Cuba.
Let's go.
People can also come on their own. We have chartered a plane from Miami that will fit 100 people. And we will be going, the delegation that is Code Pink, Progressive International, and Global Health Partners, leaving on March 20th to 23rd. You can join us. Go to the codepink.org page, and it's the first thing that will pop up. This is a time, actually, to go to Cuba. The Cubans have asked people to come in solidarity, to see the conditions there for themselves. We have to, especially in the United States, where we have such a responsibility for this catastrophe that is going on right now. We have to go there, we have to raise money for Cuba, and we have to protest Cuba policies. In Congress, call your congressperson. We have to show Marco Rubio that the U.S. community is absolutely opposed to a policy designed to create hunger and desperation.
Finally, you also just came back from Venezuela. We're in New York, not far from where the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife are imprisoned at the detention center in Brooklyn. The USS Gerald Ford, the largest aircraft carrier that was used in that attack and the abduction, is now nearing Iran in a massive military buildup. Not clear if Venezuela, the U.S. attack there, will be the model for perhaps an attack on Iran. But tell us about, in this last minute, what you found in Venezuela.
We found that people are horrified by what the U.S. did of coming in and abducting their president and the first lady on bogus charges. People also are horrified that the U.S. people don't even know or care that over 120 people were killed in that operation. Also, that there has been this economic warfare against Venezuela as well, designed to create hunger and designed and led to a mass migration that then the U.S. doesn't want the Venezuelans here anymore. They create the problem and then go in and say, okay, we're going to fix it. We're going to take Venezuela's oil and start rev up production. But it was the U.S. that led to the decline of the production by not allowing the spare parts to come in, by not allowing the companies to actually work there. So we're calling for the freedom of Nicolas Maduro and Celia Flores. We're calling for a lifting of the sanctions because they haven't been lifted. We're calling for the U.S. to recognize the government now of acting President Delcy Rodriguez so that there can be diplomatic relations. But I just want to say to close that this is a time of the Monroe Doctrine being accelerated now to the Donroe Doctrine, where the U.S. thinks that it can go into any country in Latin America. And now they're focusing on Venezuela and Cuba, but they have their sights set on Colombia, on Mexico, on other places. And that we cannot allow us to go back to the days of gunboat diplomacy, where the U.S. thinks that it is allowed to violate sovereign nations and it can have hegemony over the hemisphere. These are sovereign countries. We must leave them alone.
She's right.
Medea Benjamin, co-founder of Code Pink, was just in Cuba providing humanitarian aid. Code Pink, along with Progressive International and other groups, are leading a land, sea, and air humanitarian solidarity mission to Cuba later in March. We'll link to your new article, Suffocating an Island, What the U.S. Blockade is Doing to the People of Cuba. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism.
So here we go. The third round of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks are being described as positive by a senior U.S. official. But so far, there's still no deal. Tensions have been rising overseas, with new reports revealing President Trump is being briefed on military options. Let's bring in retired four-star general.
He's definitely got a lot of gas over there.
And chairman of the Institute for Study of War, General Jack Keane. General, how much detail are you going for when it comes to these talks? What should we be focused on? Do you think there's any validity to them?
Well, I think the people who are involved in talks always see them as positive because they continue to talk, and that in itself is positive. But the reality is, when you look clearly at what Iran is and what they represent, you've got to come to the...
See. What's his conclusion? That they have to go in because the only thing they understand is violence. Right? Let's find out, chat.
Conclusion that they're very unlikely we're going to achieve anything. Why is that? Because Iran does want to recover its nuclear program.
Okay.
No matter what lies and pretense they're putting forward in these talks. Number two.
Also, Jay,
Iran clearly is already recovering its ballistic missile program, and that is one of the drumbeats that's beating here in terms of what damage they could do to Israel and also to the United States. Number three, Iran is already continuing to support the proxies in the region, which means at some point they will be upgunned again with a potential to attack Israel. Those are the things that are truly happening, and we've already have the evidence that Iran is willing to kill as many people.
What does that have to do with us talking with them?
Inside their country to put down any idea of a protest or an internal regime change. That is who we're dealing with. And what does that actually present to us then? An historic opportunity, because Iran is vulnerable and weak, weaker than they've ever been in the 46-year history of the regime. Right now,
he's really selling it for you guys. He's selling it. He's selling war. This is one of the... This guy sold the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war. Okay? Jack Keane, retired.
Now today, that gives us up an opportunity to put in place a comprehensive...
Institute for the Study of War. He retires as a general, then starts Institute for the Study of War, then goes on TV and pontificates.
Joint operation with Israel to really set the conditions for a regime change. Now look, President Trump is a peace president. There is no doubt about it, given what he's done.
Dude, it could be 2001. It could be 1999.
Too challenging for others to resolve, and particularly
that's how long I've
United
heard
Nations,
this story.
Which doesn't show up at all when it comes to peace. But here's the difference.
Really?
This president is willing to
you heard
use
me.
force.
Oh, wait, he heard me. He's like, what's the difference? Oh, here's the difference. Oh, so he heard what I said. He heard what yeah, see? Interactive. Twitch can be interactive sometimes. Isn't that funny? All right, so chat, look at this shit. Look at this guy.
To achieve a peaceful outcome. And I believe that is the path we are on right now.
Do you believe
and that would be a combined... Go ahead.
Do you believe there are some people within the administration that don't want to take the risk, and they say, well, there's a chance of casualties, there's a chance of Iraq War II type of outcome, and we shouldn't take the risk? Do you think that there's some of that friction within the Trump administration?
Yeah, certainly, and there usually is in any administration. There's always folks who are going to look at it and just focus on the negative, adverse consequences, and then that leads them to what?
Okay.
To do nothing. To do nothing here.
He's saying ignore the consequences.
Another 10 years to impose their will on the region and continue to destabilize it. We've been with these guys almost 50 years now. Do we really want to do that when the vulnerability and weakness is right in front of us? The historic opportunity to stabilize this Middle East once and for all, to have the Abraham Accords kick in, and we already know those countries would be willing to do that if we get Iran off the board here. That is a huge opportunity. To do nothing is to continue this. Makes no sense. So, yes, there always will people who are going to advocate, well, there'll be casualties. 2, the operation is going to be complicated. 3, there's not a clear definition in terms of an end state. And listen, when you conduct even an operation with a ground force to conduct decisive operations,
these are talking points from the...
as we did in Panama in '89, Haiti in '94, Afghanistan in 1, and Iraq in 3.
What?
There's always ambiguity in terms of what follows after that. And you can't let that distort what the opportunity is in front of you here.
He just said, ignore the fact that there's going to be people around you saying, there's casualties. We might be in the war for a long time like we were in Afghanistan and blah, blah, blah. No, I think we should ignore them because we have an opportunity that we never had, which the argument he's saying is the same argument they would say on any ramp up to a war. And he's like, yeah, there's always going to be ambiguity. There's always going to be like a spread of how long it's going to be. You never know how long the war is going to really go. People will say it'll last a week, but maybe it won't.
And that's the reality of it. And I think that's the path I think we're really likely on here.
General, when we look at the assets, and we put up that map again, with 2 aircraft carriers, Gerald R. Ford seems to be now in place. Do you believe that we have enough in the region to be successful?
Yeah, it took the Gerald R. Ford that long to get there because it just had a rumble along because it was supposed to go to dry dock years ago. It's rusting. You can see it on the side. It's pathetic.
Successful, especially if
the toilets don't work
with the Israelis. Do you believe our forces are properly protected?
They have vacuum toilets with no water.
I believe what our military commanders believe, and I know what they believe, and I know what the Israelis believe. They believe that conduct a military operation will be highly successful based on the resources they have. It doesn't mean that we're casualty-free. I mean, Iran, you always recognize an adversary here has opportunities. They got a vote here. But we can conduct a very comprehensive campaign with the Israelis to deal with what? Civilian and military leadership, the entire infrastructure that props this regime up and sustains it, ballistic missiles, to be sure, drones that are in storage sites, and any attempt for Iran to recover their nuclear operation, and many other things as well. In a general
Never
sense,
heard this before.
That is an indicator of what a comprehensive campaign would actually look like. And the resources in the region, 2 purposes. 1, to help defend U.S. bases in the region and the Israeli bases, as well as the Israeli people. And 2, to conduct a very comprehensive offensive campaign, which would reduce dramatically Iran's capability to retaliate.
General, thanks so much. I hope the president chooses to go at it. We've been looking at these headlines for 47 years. And we have an opportunity to end it, and this president likes to make history. General Jack.
At the end, he's like, yeah, let's. Oh my God, these guys are such losers. Shit, dude.
Imam Mamdani's latest visit to the White House yesterday, he not only pitched a massive federal housing plan for the city, but he came with props, playing directly into the president's love of building and perhaps the press, or at least attention of the press. And it may have worked. Mamdani also brought up a Columbia student being detained by ICE while he was at the White House. Trump phoned him shortly after the meeting to say that the woman had actually been released. CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton joining us now with more on the New York City mayor's growing popularity. Walk us through.
Yeah, okay. You know, President Trump is not the only one who gets the vapors when it comes to Zohran Mamdani. I mean, my goodness gracious, he likes popular politicians. Here's a popular politician for you. Take a look here. Mamdani's net favorable rating in New York City in September of 2025, plus 14 points. December of 2025, plus 38. Now, look at this.
Jesus Christ, he's animated.
Points. A more popular mayor to start off than either of his two Democratic predecessors, either Eric Adams or Bill de Blasio. The most popular Democrat in New York City in a generation. And President Trump, who likes to get on board with popular politicians, is getting on board right now with this guy.
Getting on board with this guy. Okay, so what about statewide?
Yeah.
What are we seeing statewide?
Okay, so you know what? A lot of Republicans are like, oh, we're going to run statewide in New York and run against Zohran Mamdani.
Nope.
There's a slight problem with that, and that is
Zohran
Mamdani isn't just popular in New York City. He's actually the most popular Democrat statewide. Take a look at this. Net favorable of New York Democrats.
Look at the contenders, though. They're all losers.
Democrats statewide. Look at this. Zohran Mamdani with a positive net favor rating of
Gillibrand, Schumer, and Hochul.
Kristen Gillibrand at plus 12. More popular than Kathy Hochul at plus 9. More popular than Chuck Schumer at minus 7. The bottom line is this. Zohran Mamdani is the most popular Democrat in the state of New York right now. Republicans are not going to be able to run against him in the midterms.
It's over.
The bottom line is this. He's popular not just in his home city, but he's popular in New York State as well.
Okay, but what about the popularity with the president? What is it that President Trump seems to like about him?
Yeah, okay, so I think what he likes about him is the fact that he is very much the type of politician who is able to attract the media attention in the same way while sticking with what he believes is right? You know,
yeah,
Donald Trump
actually,
has always been this
he's
type of
right.
politician who goes out there, says a whole heck of a lot of things, but then is still able to maintain his base. And Zohran Mamdani is the type of guy who's been able to bring in President Trump, but also has basically been sticking to his campaign platform. I mean, take a look at this. Chance Mamdani freezes the rent, the thing he had run on. Look at this. According to the prediction markets, the Kalshi prediction market this year, there's still an 81% chance that Zohran Mamdani actually freezes the rent. So he is maintaining his popularity citywide. You see him right here. It's been going up like a rocket. He is maintaining, in fact, being the most popular Democrat in the state of New York.
50% approval is insane.
And he is doing so while also at this point looking like he is going to actually keep that big campaign promise of freezing the rent.
Might as well call that
point,
50%.
As I said, President Trump isn't the only one who has the vapors, because the bottom line is this. A lot of New Yorkers have the vapors about Zohran Mamdani as well, as he is sticking to his quite progressive platform.
It looks like the Donald Trump-Zohran Mamdani bromance is heating up again. New York's mayor went to the White House today to discuss building more housing.
You know what? Fuck CNN. They just got bought out, I think.
It
by
seems
Larry
extraordinary that we haven't been back to the moon in so many decades.
Everybody like to hate Trump when you're on the left, unless we're going back into space to show the world who and what we are.
It's game time, folks. I gotta chill.
He brings in Artemis, which is a really woke name for the space program. There's a no-end train of people talking about aliens. If they're talking about it and they're insiders and they're whistleblowers, then who cares what the president says? They're the ones who I'm going to listen to. The president, if there is a cover-up, is going to be in on the cover-up. More than 90% of Earth's existence, it has had life. No one who's done the math is in denial of there being some kind of alien life in the universe.
So what's the answer? Well, many Many cynical people have pointed out that the imminent release of the UFO files is a very convenient distraction for a president who's fighting many fires. With some justification, the same people are concerned that given recent precedent, the UFO files might end...
Yeah, hold on. So Paramount is buying CNN. Interesting. Can't keep track of them anymore. You can't keep track of them, folks.
But all politics aside, the prospect is tantalizing. We could be about to see real evidence of aerial phenomena which even the brightest minds in government have been unable to explain. And it's not only about flying saucers and green men. The US Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke earlier this year about UFOs performing implausible maneuvers above sensitive government sites. We're talking about rapid acceleration, extreme speeds, transmedium travel, things which defy the laws of physics as we know.
Sure, dude.
All of this conjures excitable talk about both
I don't
a serious
believe it.
threat to national security and a vast new frontier for science. And it comes at a time when space is firmly back in our hearts and minds. Man and a woman is about to return to the moon. Elon Musk is talking about building AI data centers in space, and that's before he colonizes Mars. Jeff Bezos has a plan to move toxic pollutants into space, and no, it's not with Katy Perry. The question is, are we truly entering a new era of unprecedented discovery and exploration, or are we all getting a bit carried away? Well, I can't think of anyone better to talk to about this, to answer the big questions with some big answers.
Yeah, here we go.
The astrophysicist and author of the impeccably timed forthcoming book, Take Me to Your Leader, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil, great to have you back on Uncensored.
Yeah, Piers, it's always good to chat with you.
So look, let's just cut to the quick. Do aliens exist? Have you ever seen one? Do you think we're going to be shown evidence of them?
Well, let's separate that question into two parts. One of them is, might there be extraterrestrial life elsewhere in the universe? And if you run the numbers, how old is the universe? What are the ingredients of life as we know it? Turns out those ingredients are the most common chemically active ingredients in the universe. And the universe is old, it's vast, our galaxy has several 100 billion stars, and there may be as many as 1 trillion galaxies. And life got underway on Earth almost as quickly as it possibly could have, within about 100 million years. So more than 90% of Earth's time, 90% of Earth's existence
Time to game, folks.
Has had life. So you just add all that up and you say, no one who's done the math is in denial of there being some kind of alien life somewhere or perhaps everywhere in the universe. That's a different question from asking, have intelligent aliens come and visited us here on Earth?
Right. So what's the answer? Do you think they have?
Answer the question, you idiot.
Earn the answer, okay?
What? Fucking, so, I hate him, actually.
It comes
I don't
down
like
to,
him. I'm not a big fan.
Back up just a moment. There was a day before we understood much
I'll
about
listen
the
to
physical
him,
universe, and it was very easy to ascribe nature and the goings-on in nature to gods, God or gods.
Okay.
So a storm would whip up in the ocean, and that was Poseidon wreaking havoc on your town. Maybe somebody did something bad. The lightning bolt would strike. Well, that was Zeus. So that often things we didn't understand, the power of a deity was ascribed to it. And philosophers would call that the god of the gaps. And it persists even to this day in many people's thinking. Like if you get ill and you did something wrong, then you have a guilt complex and God is punishing you. Okay.
Nope.
It's the god of the gaps, because you don't know why you're sick or you don't know how you got sick. All right.
Whatever.
Today, what I find is many people see things they don't understand. A light in the sky that moves in a way they can't,
okay. I see where he's going with this.
predict
I
or
see where he's
foresee.
going.
And they credit aliens. So
Right to jail,
for me,
sir.
crediting things we don't understand to aliens is the continuation of the god of the gaps. but alien of the gaps doesn't have a resonance to it. So in my
Right.
book, I've just introduced a new term, aliens of our ignorance. So there's something you don't quite understand, alien.
Okay.
There it is. And it becomes a very
Sure do.
convenient way to account
He's
for
a
mysteries.
doubter.
And in science, we love mysteries. We live on the frontier, on the boundary between what is known and unknown in the universe. So if at every time we had an unknown, we said aliens, we wouldn't have gotten anywhere in our research programs.
Oh, come on.
Right, so it's a very,
What an
very
argument.
sophisticated, highly intelligent, incredibly well-informed response without actually answering the question.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
my
Thank you.
more direct question, Neil deGrasse Tyson, is: have you seen anything yourself in your entire life where you thought, that to me looks like evidence of extraterrestrial stroke genuine alien life?
It's a great question. And I've been looking up to the night sky since I was 9 years old. By the time I was 11, if you asked me that annoying question that adults always ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer was astrophysicist. So looking up that long, that frequently, for so much of my life, you end up seeing things that you've never seen before.
Okay.
And then you look it up and you find out, oh, there's a weather phenomenon. It's lightning. It's the clouds. It's a different kind of
You
cloud.
look it up.
And so you become highly fluent
You look
in
it up.
all the things
Okay.
that might otherwise trick someone without that background into thinking it's extraterrestrial. There's a case where, for example, the planet Venus, which is white cloud shrouded, very near, it's the nearest planet to Earth. So it's bright, not only because it's near, but because it's white, reflects sunlight, and it's near the sun on each side in the morning or in the evening. If you ever hear of the evening star or the morning star, they're referring to Venus. So there was a time when there was a police car that was tracking a UFO, calling it in. And they were saying the UFO's darting left and right, and we're tracking it, okay? And it turns out they were tracking Venus on a road that itself was curving, and they were not conscious of the fact that they were the one swerving. They were thinking the UFO, Venus to them, because it's UFO to them, they don't know what they were looking at, that's what it was doing. So these reports of things people see, where if you knew better, you would be able to explain it, and then you wouldn't call the police department. That still leaves behind cases that are not explained by natural causes or known phenomena.
This is true.
It could be phenomena yet to be discovered. A frontier. I'm good with that. A new sky phenomenon. Let's investigate it. Let's get more data.
What?
Go for it. But just because you don't know what it is, and it's doing things that are mysterious to you, and you use the U for unidentified flying object, or as you know,
Dude, what about the video of the fucking thing going like G-Force 10? What do you mean? You haven't seen
the
that?
United States rebranded that.
I want to see what he has to say about that one.
UAP, Unidentified anomalous phenomena. Who are they kidding? They're talking about the same thing, of course. So you rebrand it, but you can't look at something that's anomalous, say you don't know what it is, and then declare that you know what it is. That doesn't comport. You just say, I don't know what it is. Let's investigate it further, which I'm all for.
I'm down with this game. I like this game.
A lot of the speculation, I guess, in the last 100 years was fueled by
It actually fills the void for
Roswell
me.
in the 50s, by this fabled
I still like Raiders too.
Area
It's no different.
51,
They're different
the
games.
U.S. Air Force facility in
I want another Ark
southern
Raiders.
Nevada and so on. I presume, I mean, I imagine you've either been there or know people who have. You've
I like
looked
the
at all
aesthetic,
this.
too.
What
It's
is
cool.
the truth about Roswell Area 51?
I'm not authorized to comment for. No, just kidding.
You're pleading the extraterrestrial fifth.
So,
Hello?
Just to back up for a moment. So, what I explore in Take Me to Your Leader is all the ways aliens might visit us, could visit us, may have visited us, and just unpack what might be alien science, alien technology, even alien powers they might wield.
You said hello. You didn't hear
that
me?
We don't, biologically. And so you can approach that question with this kind of guardrails on the conclusions you might jump to. And the guardrails, because the laws of physics as we experience them here on Earth, it turns out apply across the universe and across time. It's not an assumption, it's a measurement that we have made. So we get to constrain what's going on here. And so now getting more directly to your question, I've been to Roswell, never been to Area 51. I can say that if the government is so let's assume the government is stockpiling aliens. Let's ask a whole other set of questions. Let's just do this. You ready? Come with me on this.
Okay, that was good.
Doing that, let's say at Area 51 or anywhere, no one is leaking that information.
Oh, shit.
So many people who are sure that the U.S. government is a big, bloated, inefficient bureaucracy simultaneously will declare that it's masterminding a major cover-up when thousands of people are in on it and keeping a secret. And all I can think of is Benjamin Franklin's edict from his almanac, where he said, back in the early 1800s, he wrote, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead.
What the hell's happening?
This is just a blunt understanding of human nature.
How do you heal?
And by the way, the kinds of secrets you're talking about are the tasty secrets, the really juicy secrets. The government, of course, keeps secrets that no one even cares about, right? So it's the ones that you really care about. And how about the janitor that could have just slipped an iPhone photo of the alien and then immediately posted it? Yes, the janitor would lose his job the next day, but it would be the most famous, richest janitor there ever was, because that would go viral. Faster than cat videos go viral. So we can ask the question, because every one of us has a smartphone on our hip capable of high-resolution photos and videos, high resolution, and we upload 4 or 5 billion photos a day to the internet, plus 1 million hours of video a day.
He's right about that.
None of them have detailed images of aliens. So either the aliens are only coming to Earth to visit our military installations and the U.S. government.
Which is possible.
Or they're not really here. I mean, maybe they just care about our military. That's possible, I suppose. But if we were under alien invasion, it seems to me that would get crowdsourced, because everybody would take pictures of it. And you wouldn't need hearings. No one would have to swear they're telling the truth, because you just bring forth the alien.
Well, there are 2 things I would say to that, which are, I think, interesting. So Marco Rubio
Someone's tracking
and
me.
others
I can feel it.
in the Age of Disclosure documentary that some information is hidden from even the President of the United States, which I suspect may be true. But then we had the extraordinary situation of President Obama, who was president for 8 years, just casually asked at the end of an interview last week with Brian Tyler Cohen about whether aliens are real, and he says this:
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
And Obama replied, yeah, he thinks they're real. Now, when the President of the United States, who's been in that job for 8 years, when one of those guys says he thinks aliens are real, notwithstanding he backtracked a bit afterwards, but then in that moment, everyone goes, whoa, what? Obama thinks aliens are real? What's he seen?
Yeah, I don't see why people credit politicians with having
you can use that shit from the fucking
into scientific
window?
Discoveries of the universe. That's odd to me as a scientist.
That's sick.
Because anyone is going to discover an alien is going to be a scientist looking up with our thousands of telescopes that we have around the Earth. Way more telescopes.
But wouldn't they tell? But wouldn't you? Okay, but on that point though, Neil, wouldn't you then feel compelled as a scientist to immediately inform the president?
So that's the whole point. The title of my book is "Take Me to Your Leader." So the alien comes down and says, "Take me to your leader." Who do you take it to? Do you take it to the elected official who doesn't know science, or do you take it to a science agency?
You know the answer.
You have cryptographers and biologists and chemists. And so, or the alien, having eavesdropped on our signals, might think the actual leaders are Taylor Swift or some other pop culture figure. And
because they're so popular.
I
know.
So it's an interesting dilemma you might have. I would simply say,
oh, there we go.
that if Alien came up to
I think.
me and told me to take me to its leader, I would take it to the nearest science conference, and we would engage in conversation, and later on inform the government. That's totally how I would do that. And
could it be the aliens? Right.
Wait. In that interview with Obama, he says, "Yeah, aliens are real." I didn't interpret that as we are stockpiling aliens. He's scientifically literate enough to know
slide in water.
that in the universe there are likely aliens, and that's how I interpreted that first sentence. I didn't view that as him leaking secrets or anything.
Yeah,
but hang on. You are a super brain. You know the difference, and he's a lawyer, by the way, who even more knows the difference between how you phrase things. There's a difference between saying, "Look, it's likely in the whole universe there's other stuff," right? And him actually responding directly to "Are aliens real?" with a yes.
Okay, I since no one in government has presented an alien, I did not immediately think the government has aliens. By the way,
I gotta go here.
The notion that there's some kind of a cover-up. How can you continue to think that when in the film, in the documentary, Disclosure?
Oops, I messed up.
I don't want to confuse the documentary with the Steven Spielberg movie that's about to come out. The Spielberg movie is called Disclosure Day. And so Age of Disclosure, in that documentary, there's a no-end train of people talking about aliens in the locked box in the shed. And so if they're talking about it and they're insiders and they're whistleblowers, then who cares what the president says? These people are on the inside. So they're the ones who I'm going to listen to, not the president.
Oh, it's
especially since the president, if there is a cover-up, is going to be in on the cover-up. And someone who's sneaking information out is not. And so the fact that people listen to what presidents say as though it is the truth, I've never understood that at all. They're just someone we elect.
Could it be that aliens? Could it be that aliens are coming to our planet and identifying as humans? I mean, could Elon Musk, who joked about being an alien, could he actually be an alien? It's double bluffing us. He's got a super brain. He does extraordinary things.
What?
In many ways, he doesn't come across as particularly human. Could it be that if you were a superior alien force, would you send a bunch of Elon Musks along and just blend in and then slowly take over?
Okay, there's a way to test for that, and that is you line up everybody who's a little suspicious looking. Okay, this is kind of what,
including yourself,
you'd be on the
Remember
list.
In their headquarters, they were tracking all of the aliens on Earth, and there were people who were in pop culture,
who you are, by the way.
And they look a little different from like Michael Jackson was one of them.
You're one of them
in one of the frames, and so the way to do that is get the most alien-likely imposter you can find. Let it be Elon Musk. Just bring him into the lab and take a blood sample. If the heart is in the wrong place, if he's got green blood instead of, that would mean it's based on copper instead of iron. Not a weird exotic thought there. And so you could do that. So now, if they're human physiologically and the alien is just duping us, then you just kind of...
What is that?
There's no way to tell. If the alien is a perfect human, then as far as we're concerned, they're human of alien manufacture, but there's no way for you to know because you constructed the example to be such that there's no way to know, so that you can continue to believe that aliens are among us. This is conspiracy thinking 101, where you invent an account that allows you to continue to think what you'd like, even if the direct evidence isn't there, or if there's a gap in the evidence. You gap it yourself so that you can continue to believe. So I came to conclude that it's almost a belief system, because no one is, like I said, if you bring forth the alien, I don't need your testimony. we got the alien.
I don't need that smoke right now, boys.
I would argue that given we know nothing about aliens from what you're saying, then all theories about them potentially are conspiracy theories, right? I mean, we can say, as you've done, and Obama stated when the furor blew up about his comments, well, you know, it makes sense that there would be other stuff out there. That in itself is a conspiracy theory. It may not be. You're just supposing that it's highly unlikely, and I would agree with you. I would buy into this theory that it's just very unlikely that in the universe we're the only living entities, right? So, but everything by definition would be a conspiracy theory until there's any factual evidence.
No, not really, because the difference is, okay, so what you're asking, I think you're asking, is whether the fact that scientists who have done the calculation have pretty high confidence that there are aliens out there. So, okay, that's one thing. And by the way, we are looking. We have major observing programs, helped in large measure by the James Webb Space Telescope, to look for evidence of aliens. And by the way, to the scientist, an alien is any kind of biota, right? It could be microbial. So we'd be happy if we found anything, not just, you know, the kind that would come here in a spaceship. So I have a hard time accepting that, looking at the statistics on that.
Oh, shit.
And now we're motivated to search that
Definitely
somehow
don't want that smoke.
That's a conspiracy theory, because we're testing our conclusions. Okay? The conclusions are not a given. We're presuming there's life out there. Now let's go find it. The UFO people are declaring there's life that we've been visited. That's a declaration. But they don't have the evidence, or it's hidden, or it's a conspiracy, or it's covered up. And so they arrive at their conclusion, gapping the absence of evidence. And so that's, to me, different.
You talk in the book, which is a fascinating read, but you talk about the etiquette we should consider if we ever do meet an alien. Just give me a little bit of that.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many assumptions that we just take for granted that because one of the chapters, the first chapter, is called Alien to Us. And I explore all the ways we've imagined aliens in our pop culture, in our films, in our books. And so this gives us a range of our creativity. And then we can then ask, well, what would we look like to the alien? And how much thought have we put into that? For example, the alien comes down and wants to hang out with you, and you say, excuse me, I need to spend the next 1/3 of Earth's rotation in a semi-comatose state. I'll be back to you in 8 hours. That's gotta come across kind of, right? Just, and then the whole world is just semi-comatose. Not even sort of awake. They're just, you can poke them and nothing happens. Your urge to want to shake their hand, like that's, not all humans do that. In China, it's more of a bow if you hold your own hand. So that's not even all around the earth. But if they happen to have some appendage sticking forward, you don't just grab it and shake it. You don't know what part of that alien you just grabbed. And so just leave your assumptions at home and go there with no assumptions at all. And the alien, making this up, of course, suppose the alien had a little bit of dog in it. Just however that, all right, it probably doesn't have DNA, but if it had some dog behavior and it lands, the first thing it might do is go around and and we see dogs do that, and that's just normal for dogs. All right, if an alien did that, you say, wait, what? But maybe that's normal for aliens.
I'm fucked,
So I spent a whole chapter exploring how we are alien to aliens, because I don't think people gave that enough thought.
No, I gave it no thought until I read that. And it is fascinating, and actually, it makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
No, you know what else I would do? I would leave behind everyone who thinks Earth is flat or does not recognize that science is a path to objective truth, because we want to leave a good impression on the aliens. And if they see members of your species that are totally out of it, that could leave a bad impression, because I don't want the alien to phone home and say, there is no sign of intelligent life on Earth. Okay, I want to give him the best chance that they can say nice things about us in their report.
Are we building our own alien force through AI and robots? And do you fear that? I mean, a lot of very bright people are getting very concerned that AI will ultimately learn to self-design, and that when it does, it may well take a view that humans are pretty useless. They spend 8 hours a day in comatose conditions, for example. We drink, we fornicate, we take drugs, we fight, and so on. And they might, if they get smart, which they're getting very smart very quickly, just go, well, let's get rid of them. But, I mean, on a serious point, do you worry about that?
No, I get it. I get it. So let me take one step back and then 2 steps forward to that question. So one step back is we measure how great AI is by how well it imitates our intelligence, hence artificial intelligence. And by the way, who said humans are intelligent? Humans did. Okay, so is that the measure of intelligence? Because we call ourselves intelligent? If an alien came, would it judge us to be intelligent?
Get out of here.
If it built a spaceship and crossed the galaxy, chances are we got nothing on these aliens. And they'll look at our attempts to make a computer program that can imitate us or be a little smarter than us, and they'll just laugh, because human intelligence is a low bar. If you have a computer beating human intelligence and an alien is looking at that, it's like, what? You know, we can program that in an afternoon. Little.
I knew it.
Alien Junior in our basement is programming that.
Oh well, nice try.
I don't
nice run.
necessarily see human intelligence as the measure of things. Just for those reasons. Just step back and ask. A quick example here is, if our closest genetic relative is the chimp, and we're like 2% different in DNA. The smartest chimps there ever were can stack boxes and reach a banana. And it might do some rudimentary sign language. They're only 2% different from us. Well, then we're prone to say, what a difference that is. We have philosophy and art and civilization and the James Webb telescope, and all they can do.
Yeah, a chimp will also rip your arm off and eat it.
Well, imagine a life form that's saying 2%.
Yeah, a chimp is 4 times as strong as you.
That we are beyond the chimp. What would we look like to them? The smartest among us.
Dumb argument. I don't like it.
Match their top.
You guys are motherfuckers.
Stephen Hawking to them oh, that's cute. He knows astrophysics. He can do it in his head, like little alien Timmy Zork Jr. over here, who's just home from preschool. So I don't view AI with humans as the metric as something that is cosmically significant. Now, more directly to answer you, yeah, AI, once it has its own agency, that's the scary part, then what would it think of humans? Might it make us their pet, for example? And then I thought about that. That's we kind of don't want that, of course, but look at how we treat our pets. You will step, not
I got one
specifically, but we know humans will step over homeless other humans in the street to go home and cuddle with their pet dog, their pet cat. So maybe being the pet of an alien is not so bad if our behavior towards pets is any indication of this. If they otherwise see us the way the Smith saw us in the Matrix, that we're virus on Earth that we need to get rid of, that could be bad. So maybe we should start behaving better in anticipation of that day.
But do you think it's capable, AI, of self-designing? Do you think it can get to that stage? I've seen opinions split on that.
Yeah. I don't. In my life, I've written maybe 50,000 lines of code, but that was long ago. But I was in it and I felt it, and the computer is this thing. You're talking to it, and you design it to talk back to you and help you and give you data that you couldn't have calculated. And so its powers are only growing exponentially. If it could design itself, that's a game changer right there. And the question, but here's what I would ask: AI is like in a computer. Yes, there's all these robots that people are designing. By the way, the human form is the last thing you want to imitate. It's the human form, really? Okay, with 2 feet, where you can just easily get knocked over. You need at least 3. Okay, insects know this. Insects have 6 legs. 3 feet are on the 3 legs are on the ground at any given moment, and so it's stable the whole way. That's why they can scurry so quickly, and why most mammals can outrun us. Okay, so our form is not a thing that should be emulated. But regardless, the AI is in a computer sitting there on a shelf. Okay, I, as a human, still get to go to the beach, go to a party, meet people I've never met before, find a shell, a mollusk on the shore that maybe it's a new mollusk that's not cataloged yet. I can make discoveries because is it going to go hang out at the beach and watch a sunset and compose a poem on that? I don't see that I don't see that in line as what's going to come. And so we'd have to train it to have that bit of sort of humanity and humility about its own knowledge and its own place in our world.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned Stephen Hawking. I've said this many times, but I did, as you did, one of the last interviews with him before he sadly died. He was an amazing guy. But I did ask him, what's the biggest threat to mankind? And he said, when AI learns to self-design. That's it. So I just hope he didn't give a caveat to whether it was gonna self-design. He just said that would be the moment.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is from this sci-fi writer Ray Bradbury, and I met him only once, and I confirmed with him that it's a legit quote. Apparently, a woman once came up to him and said, "Mr. Bradbury, why do you write these stories about apocalyptic futures? Is that where you see humanity headed?" And he says, "No, I write those stories so you know to avoid them." And when you look at the number of alien movies we have, drawn from the creativity of our most creative storytellers, so many of them have bad. So we have been warned by our own media, our own movies. We have been warned. So we're in a position to say, we know what to look for. Here are the guardrails to prevent that from happening. And even Isaac Asimov, with his famous 3 laws of robotics, the first law is, if you're designing a robot, the robot must never harm humans. The second law is, the robot must never allow harm to happen to humans if their intervention could prevent it. The third law is, the robot must look after its own existence, provided doing so does not violate the first or second laws. I'm reciting these for you only to tell you that Isaac Asimov, as early as the 1950s, knew that you have to put guardrails on your creation. And to the extent that there are no guardrails, I love the title of this book that came out recently. It said, if anyone builds it, everyone dies. Okay. That kind of checks, okay? That's kind of there. And so the guardrail part is what's important.
Yeah. It's fascinating to see where it all goes. I want to talk just quickly about
let's just think about it briefly geopolitically. So think we're old enough, we're about the same age. We remember the Cold War and the tensions surrounding the buildup of nuclear weaponry that could destroy each other and the world multiple times over. Once the realization that there are no winners in an all-out nuclear exchange, then people came to the table and started reducing the stockpiles. So, if we tell the world, if anyone builds this super intelligent AI, this AGI, Advanced General Intelligence AI, if anyone builds it, that's the end of us all, then maybe we can come together with world wisdom, the wisdom of the ages that tells us no one should have in their hands something that can destroy the world. So who knows? Maybe the prospect of inventing that will bring peace to the world. Have you thought of that?
It could. I mean, I would say the AI scientists in the world.
Yep. Goodbye. That's all of that for now, folks. Can't take any more. All right, let's go for a couple more runs. That was a bad run, to be honest. That was a bad run. Go. Can we go? What do you mean? Got him. Okay. Good. I did something.
Attention, runner. Town City 4 is off limits. The planet, its colony, and all connected resources are property of the Unified Earth Space Council. Under UESC law, you are trespassing here and have been marked as an enemy of the state. Final warning. Surrender or face extermination.
Come out in the cold, dark, deep of space. The UESC holds no real jurisdiction. Cyberacne is not beholden to their petty laws. Neither should you be. I've repurposed the communications technology you collected and can connect you with potential employers. Unfortunately, the UESC is interfering with my attempts to establish contact. Please address the source of this disruption.
I was muted. God damn it. I was saying you need to release maps. People get bored. I didn't buy myself food. Damn it. It's reading they're forcing you to turn in your contracts. That's interesting to me. I think that's probably a good thing, because I probably ignore it otherwise. I wanted to add something to my yeah, I feel like shit. I'm not sure how much longer I'll stream, but like I've had a headache practically all day, so. Oh fuck! That could happen, folks. What the fuck, bro? Well, being a hacker is a hard job, huh? Jesus. Never even been to Dire Marsh. Want to go? Let's go! Should I rook in? Might give you a chance to check out different weapons. Does it really give you good weapons? Or random weapons? Okay, thank you. See that? No. You'll die. Do I hear something? Okay, this map looks better already. I'm actually not a big fan of the other map. Did I play this map in the alpha? I don't think I did. I might have seen footage. I can't remember playing this. So I'm in maintenance here. Let's go to maintenance. I heard this is hard as fuck, so. Look at that. Whoa. That looks cool. That looks cool too. I like it. My stealth frame, guys. All the noises, bro. You are not safe here. Thank you. Okay, what the fuck, bro? Still only running at 70.
Remain.
That kind of hurt. I see you. It's a recruit. Okay. Did you hear me? What's he guarding? What is this stuff? Bubble shield. Is that good? No idea. Wondering if there's stuff up there. It's like this has already been looted or something. Oh, you can get up here. I thought so. Dude, someone killed me from a diabolical spot yesterday. See your feet too. That's cool. Where's that dude that was following me? What is Q? Amplify. Don't know what that does. Let's assume it's good though. Rations. That lets me buy rations. That's great. I hear someone shooting a AK or something. Aha. That's what Amplify does. Oh, he's up there. Sound is pretty good in this game. Oh, is he calling in a fucking... Ooh. Is that an extract? No? Thank God. What the fuck was that? A drop?
Connection collapse in 15 minutes.
Oh God. It's so over. There's two of them. Oh shit. What a bitch. What is that? Why is it on lockdown? Hello? 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 Hello, robots? I'm inside.
Data integrity is almost depleted.
Nice. That was horrific. Go. We're in. That is fucking cool. Okay, guys, I like this game. This is Tronish. Got enough Tron in it. Oh, yeah, I keep stopping and staring at shit because, you know, I'm kind of a video game designer myself. What's that noise? What is out there? What is this? It's fucking raining. They have weather effects. They have chat that doesn't work. Oh, missed! Actually, Rook comes with a good shield. You definitely don't want to go anywhere near that. I was like, what is this? Death. That color is death. Red. That's the color of death in this game. It's very clear. See? See what I mean? Oh, gimme. What is this? They have physics. What's this guy doing up here? Okay. That's interesting. He definitely came from in here. I mean, come on, guys. This is fucking amazing. What the fuck? Who's hating on this game? Come on. Looks like we've got the place to ourselves. I'll take it. I could live here. It's fucking cool. All kinds of cool shit to fuck with. Big ass fucking wall. Look. Got a huge wall with just screens on it. Jesus. Okay, I'll take this place. Yeah. La Tita, La Tierra, 2 stations. There's no loot in here though. God damn it. Someone already came here? What's happening? Where's Q? What is F?
Sending permissions.
10 minutes remain until forced signal recall.
A shield or something? Take it, whatever it is.
Sustained.
Fuck you. Thanks, Rook. More loot. Where is all the loot? Oh, it's gonna stop raining now. We got harvesters out there? Yeah, because this is a harvesting colony. See? That's cool. That's like an office. I hear something. I'm good. Oh, he does slide a little bit. Okay. Who came in here and left that? They always open or always closed? I don't even know. Someone's around here. I know it. I can feel it in my blood. The screaming's interesting. It's like, okay. It's just those fucking beasts and it's echoing. Those flying ones. That's a nowhere land right there. Where are we going? Where am I? Huh? Okay. That's what that guy was doing. I'm gonna go do that. That's called the anomaly, huh? Gotta watch out for those towers, though. They suck. It's bound to be a robot. Oh shit. Look out. Where am I going? To this. Oh, he's got a cape. That is not good. Oh, that guy's not good either. Fuck. What do I do? Okay, we gotta fight these guys, but not with a pistol? What the fuck? This sucks. Okay, I guess we can't go there. That's why it's guarded. Alright, but I'm already here, so let's try something. The hell was that? Okay, they're not that bad. Fucking A, dude. No ammo.
Sending permissions.
Don't I have an ammo box? Was that a robot that just got me? That sucked. Or was it a guy that was cloaked? Aha.
Connection failing. Exfil within 3
Fuck
minutes.
me, dude. I don't even care.
Exit marked.
God damn it. Ah! Run. Not this way. Oh my god, you just... Oh shit. So smart. Fuck, he does cloak. God damn, he's a son of a bitch. He will fuck you up. He's sucking me dry, bro. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. No, bro, not like this. This ain't the right way, man. Ghost, huh? Fuck. God, you suck. The ghosts suck. That's good. It should be hard. They're cool, actually. I accept the challenge. I got 3. We'll just go again. We're looking in, boys. Special late night stream here, because I'm ignoring chat, but whatever. Sorry, guys. I think this game's worth $40 by a long shot. I spent money and I spent $40 on a game and played it less than this and been alright with it. I don't give a fuck, so I'd spend $40 on this. Just for the aesthetic, honestly. Just to drop in every once in a while and check it out. See the new map and see what they're coming up with. I dig it. A lot better than fucking Destiny, I'll tell you that right now. So, whatever.
Connection collapse in 15 minutes.
Tired of fucking Destiny, fuck. Fuck. What is in that? What are they growing in there? At least he made a noise. Definitely. Okay. They got flyers too. Didn't mean to do that. Move my mouse. Fuck, does he leave loot? Yeah. Alright. It's in here. Fucking tomatoes or something like that. Peppers? What even are they then? Shit, they're like not even fucking fruits. What is this? That is satisfying. For some reason. The noise. Okay, so this is like a tunnel. This would like be where they would be working on shit. There's more. Isn't there this whole like underground? There's 2 floors, right? Ooh, a bioprinter. Hey! What's this? Solid stance, fast twitch fiber, take melee damage, grants a large boost to your agility. Okay. Overclock cooling longer than IS if it connects kit or OS. Okay, whatever. Huh? MMR. Did you see me? Oh, there he is. Ooh, requires the greenhouse lab key. Hey. Hey. I'm in the greenhouse. Sure. I got how much? 10 minutes? I'd like to exfil today. It'd be nice.
Minutes remaining.
Okay. There's nothing in here. The fuck? Exfil here. Exit. Wow, it's a ways away. I gotta get the fuck over there. Actually, where the fuck? Sorry, didn't I just mark it? Ah, only one left. Fucking A, dude. Hey, wait. Know the map at all? Going the wrong way. That. Oh, fucking bitch. He just long shot him in my ass with a fucking... God damn. They're aggressive! Well, anomaly's in the way. What the fuck? Gotta go around it. Ah. Gotta go, bro. Oh no. Can't go there. Oh shit, I'm fucked. I'm gonna go this way. I see. Be nice if I could run right now so that didn't come my way. That'd be great. Where's my queue, dude? What am I doing? Can I even get there? Jesus Christ. Fucking Stract is right on top of it. Jesus Christ, this sucks. I'm screwed! Never getting out. Do I make it?
Forced recall in 5 minutes.
Get me out of here! I was lucky. Pure luck. Let's go. Alright, chat, that's it for me. Like I said, I just want to exfil and then get off. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Possibly, possibly not.